already kind of fading and I'm like, no. That is so pretty. Totally just pokes my eyeball out. Cupid butts. Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. For today's video, I'm so excited to be reviewing the Pat McGrath Bridgerton Collection. Well, some of the collection. So I did get the eyeshadow palette and I got one of these Sublime highlighters. I didn't get the blush palette because I already have the highlighter and the blush palette twice. And I just figured I didn't really need another one of the same highlighter. So even though it does have new blush shades and I kind of have regrets now. Anyway, I'm a huge Bridgerton fan, and now when I did do my like new makeup releases video announcing this, like talking about it, whatever, I did say in that video that I had never watched Bridgerton, but that has changed. I actually have watched Bridgerton now and I'm so excited. I love it so much. When I purchased this collection, I had not watched it, by the way. The only reason I bought this is because I knew I would have FOMO if I didn't. I knew it was gonna sell out because I know the cult following Bridgerton has and the cult following that Pat McGrath has. So I was really excited about it and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna buy it and then I'm gonna sit down and watch it because I gotta know what's going on before I review it, and I know what's going on, so I'm really excited about that. Anyway, I'm really excited to test out these two products, and yeah, if you're new here, I hope you'll subscribe and let's get into this review. So we're gonna start off with the palette. I do think that the packaging embodies Bridgerton entirely. I think it's such pretty packaging. The palette is actually made in Italy. Now, this is the first 6 pan that I own from Pat McGrath that is made in Italy because I do have the Rose Decadence. This is made in the USA. So it is really exciting that we get a 6 pan palette from Pat McGrath for $65, by the way, that is made in Italy because we know it's going to be good quality. Well, we'll see. We'll be the test of that, right? I will be the judge of that. So this does have an 18-month shelf life and I just love the packaging. I will say the color story didn't wow me. I just needed to have it. Look at this. Look at this gorgeous packaging. So this is cardboard packaging and it does have a little magnetic closure and then you just open it and here it is. And I just love the details on the actual like the stamps of the on the mats. Like it's so pretty. So we're gonna go ahead and swatch the palette because I want to know what I'm working with here on the website, and let me show you because I'm on the website right now gathering my infos. That's what I do on my brand new iPad, by the way. I'm so excited about this. So we have this like graphic here on the website where it actually shows you drape your eyes in the blushy shades of Art and Swoon Love Match. Like it tells you where you could put it. So if you're like kind of confused, I think they're catering more towards people that are buying this purely based because it's Bridgerton, not actually Pat McGrath. Like stans or makeup lovers by any means. They just bought this because they love Bridgerton, which I think is really cool. First up, we have Iconic Ingenue, which is an opalescent pink champagne highlighter. So opalescent is not, it's like a satin, not really like a shimmer or anything. I did just go over it twice. It does blend out really nicely. It's very buttery. I like that. Then we have, oh my god, I don't want to swatch it because I don't want to mess up the imprint. It's so freaking pretty. We have Art of the Swoon, which is a pastel pink satin matte. So it does have an interesting texture. I wish I could explain it. I wish you could feel through the screen because it also feels like a satin. This one definitely has more like shimmer particles, so that's what makes it different, a different formulation. Then we have Regency Blue, which is the iridescent blue astral. I love the Blitz Astral shades. This is probably a shade though that you're gonna wanna layer with another one. I can already tell it's a little bit like sheer, but it has a gorgeous duochrome. The undertone of this is the blue, obviously, but then it shifts into like the most gorgeous like plummy shade, like kind of like this one. So I feel like if you put this one down and then you put the Blitz Astral shade over top, it's going to be really pretty. Next we have Plum Regalia, which is a velvety plum taupe matte. All right, this is gorgeous. It is very pigmented. I could tell even just by like putting my finger in there. It's super soft. Oh my gosh, it's so pretty. I accidentally got some of the Blitz Astral. I don't know if you guys can see that. I accidentally got some on there and that looks really pretty layered. Next we have Duchess Divinity, which is a pink platinum metallic. Oh, I love the metallic shades. That is gorgeous. That all over the lid will be beautiful. It's even blending out very nicely. It's so buttery and smooth and very pigmented. And it's the metallic formula that I love from Pat McGrath. So I'm very excited to try that one out. Lastly, we have Love Match, which is a roseberry satin matte. So we have 2 satin mattes in here. I do have to say, I'm not a huge fan of the color story. I would have liked to see, after watching Bridgerton, now I know, I would like to see some yellows, maybe some golds, maybe a green. I would have loved to see a navy matte or like a royal blue matte. This shade is really gorgeous. Here are all the swatches. And yeah, okay, like They're really, really nice, but again, not the color story I would envision for Bridgerton. And I do just say that if I wasn't a makeup collector or a huge fan of Pat McGrath, that I probably wouldn't purchase this palette just based on the color story. I do think that a lot of these colors are repeats in her, not exact repeats, because I think the formulations are a little different in this palette than what I've seen before. I incorporate every single color in this palette. Let's see how that goes. I think I'm going to use a Refer 27 brush first because this is nice and fluffy, and I'm going to take the shade, what are you called? Art of Swoon, which is one of the satin mattes and one of the pinks, which hopefully won't do me dirty. All right, I am gonna go for a halo eye today. I am noticing that it is quite heavy in the shimmer department. Not shimmer, like you don't see actual particles of shimmer, but it is a little bit like it's not matte. And I just don't like that. I feel like it makes me look older than what I am, and I think that's why I don't like it. So that could just be a me personally thing. Like I know people, oh, there's no rules in makeup. I get it. There's no rules in makeup, but I just don't like it on myself. I really don't. I don't know. Do you guys see the shimmer? Because I do. Now, if you use a really fluffy brush, it might be a little bit easier to like get rid of some of the shimmer, make it look like it's more of a matte. I will say it does blend out really nicely, and it is a little bit less intense than when you swatch it. So I kind of like that because when I swatched it, I was like, ew. Like it's gonna be a bright pink. And honestly, this one scares me too, but I'm about to layer that one. I am gonna wait to see which one I'm gonna put on my cheeks, because I'm gonna put one of these on my cheeks as a blush and see how it looks as a blush. I'm gonna go in with the What's Up Beauty R102 brush. It's a little bit tapered. It's just stained. I'm gonna take the shade Love Match, which is this one, the darker pink. Let's see how much darker it is. Honestly, I think you could probably get away with getting rid of at least maybe the lightest one, because I feel like this one can blend and turn into the lightest one, and it's the same kind of formula. It's like a satin. It would have, okay, take it a step back even and make one of these a true matte and I'll be happy. But again, it's really, really pink heavy. I do like pink on like an everyday basis. Like that is like, those are my tones. Like when I like do a neutral look, I love pink. I don't know. I love the Naked 3 palette from Urban Decay. So that kind of thing, you know, these are blending out really nicely. I feel like this one has a little bit less of that like luminosity. So it's pretty. I feel like I would like this one on my cheeks. You know what? I might layer them and just see how they go layered, because it might be a really pretty situation. Okay, so I did take some time to build up these shades. I feel like they are just way too similar and we could have done without one of these, like I keep saying. I'm gonna go ahead and just take one of them as a blush. Let's start with the lighter one because I'm scared. So I'm gonna take my Refer 04 brush. Let's see how this goes. I feel like this one's a little too muted for my liking. I do like a little bit more of an intense blush, but it has a really pretty finish. I do not mind a shimmery blush at all. I think it's really pretty actually, but we're gonna go ahead and layer them because I have a feeling I'm gonna like the other one a little bit more. I am so sad that this imprint is going to go away. It's already kind of fading and I'm like, no, because it's so pretty, guys. Ugh. Okay, I'm gonna take the other shade and oh, that's really pretty. And I love how it ties into the eyes. So if you're like me and you didn't purchase the blush palette, don't fret because we have perfectly good blushes right here. Like this is so pretty. Guys, I might have accidentally dipped my brush slightly into the Bliss Astral shade and now I have some on my face. So we're just gonna ignore that. It actually doesn't look bad. Like if you're going for like a Euphoria vibes type look, which by the way, Euphoria is back and I'm so excited about it. That reminds me, something I did forget to mention at the beginning of this video when I was talking about the palette is the shipping issues. I have a feeling, and like hear me out, a lot of people have different theories about Pat McGrath shipping. My theory is that she has a launch date in mind and she puts out that launch date even though the items may not be at her warehouse yet. So she's like, we're launching on this day and we'll just wait until the items get here and then we start shipping them out. That is my theory. I honestly think that she just kind of launches whenever she feels like it, even if her stuff isn't ready. So that is my theory. What do you guys think? I'm also really mad at UPS. I live really close to a Pat McGrath warehouse. If they send me an email saying my package has shipped, I'll get it tomorrow. That was supposed to be the case when they sent it to me on Friday. I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna get it on Saturday. I'm gonna get this video up. It's gonna be amazing. UPS was holding it over the weekend, and that made me so angry. So literally it just dropped off on my doorstep like right before I started this video. So that's why my video is up a little bit later. I wanted to be one of the first to get it up. I'm never the first to get anything up, and I feel like that has really hurt my channel because I want to be one of the first to get things up. I feel like a lot of people, they just watch a few reviews and then they're done, and they don't really have an interest in my review anymore, unless you're like a loyal subscriber of mine. Honestly, I can't get over this. These vibes are really pretty over here. Do you guys see the Blitz Astral that I accidentally did? It looks really pretty, to be honest. I like it. Moving back to the eyes, I'm gonna take a Refer 14 brush. I'm gonna go into the shade Plum Regalia. So that's gonna deepen everything out. I do think that this shade complements the pinks a lot because it's not too deep. It's not like a brown. It's in the same color family, but it'll just help deepen everything out really nicely. When I swatched this though, I was like, oh my god, that is so pretty. It's like the most gorgeous. Again, these are my everyday tones. Like when I think neutrals, I think of pinks. I don't know why. So this would be like the perfect shade for me to deepen out a look. So I'm gonna take this in the inner and outer corner. Like I said, I'm doing a halo eye. Before I get too carried away though, I'm gonna take a little bit more of this deeper pink. I gotta memorize the names. I'm sorry guys. I want that to appear a little bit more. I am loving this. Okay, so I definitely want to take the Blitz Astral on the lid on the center. Oh, boy, I think I'm going to use this one on the lower lash line. I think this one would look beautiful on the center of the lid as well. But for the purposes of this video, I do want to try out the Blitz Astral because that's like the formula Pat McGrath is like known for. And it has a beautiful shift, so I think it's going to look really gorgeous in the center of the lid. That's so pretty, guys. Honestly, sometimes I do find that the Blitz Astral shades work really well with a flat brush like this, so we're going to try this as well. I definitely recommend using a glitter glue or some sort of concealer if you don't want it to go everywhere, which I should have done. You know what, we're going to try that on the other eye. I'm going to put a tiny bit of my P. Louise base in the center. It's just that I don't like for it to look so done. I like for it to look like undone. This prevents it from going everywhere. That's so pretty, guys. Oh my god, that is so pretty. Honestly, that makes it a little bit more intense. It does still end up looking a little bit messy, just like slightly messy because of the nature of this kind of formula. I guess it just kind of gets everywhere, but it has a gorgeous shift. I'm obsessed. That shade has to be my favorite shade in the whole palette. I wish there was more blue in this palette. Now I need to figure out what the heck I'm going to do on the lower lash line. I think I'm going to first go in with this deep shade. This is not the right brush for that. This is a Refer 28 brush. It's like another flat brush, but I just kind of want to put that really close to my lower lash line. Totally just pokes my eyeball out. Wow. Just incorporate some of that pink. I'm also just going to go in with some of this matte shade over here on the very outer corner, just to deepen it a little bit, kind of incorporate like what's happening on the top. And then I'm going to take the shimmer shade. This would be a really gorgeous lid shade as well because it's an intense metallic shimmer. Just wanted to use every single shade, and honestly, if I wasn't trying to like test out the palette, I probably wouldn't use this shade on the lower lash line for this look in particular. So pretty though. Of course, lastly, I'm going to take the shimmer shade over here, Iconic Ingenue, and that's a gorgeous inner corner highlight. It's not as intense as I would like for it to be personally. I like a really intense shimmer in the inner corner, but it is a really nice tone that complements the pinks and the blues and the plums shades in this palette. So I'm just gonna take some on my brow bone. Moving on to the highlighter, I'm really excited for this because I do really love this formula from Pat McGrath. This is the Skin Fetish Sublime Skin Highlighter in the shade Incandescent Gold. They also have the Intense Gold. What's it called? It's called Extreme Gold, which we're not doing, right? So it has the same exact packaging as the palette. Very, very Bridgerton, as you guys can see. This is also made in Italy, by the way, and it has an 18-month shelf life. I love the formula of these, but this costs $60. I would never ever encourage any of you guys to spend $60 on a highlighter unless you are a collector like me, makeup collector, Bridgerton fan, Pat McGrath fan, whatever you might be. It is still a great formula nonetheless, but we are going to test this out and give our full evaluation. I already knew I was not going to be a fan of this outside. I just don't think it's that pretty. Let me just go ahead and compare, by the way, to this. This came out in the holiday collection. So very similar packaging, the same size pretty much. Also made in Italy, also an 18-month shelf life, and much cuter packaging, to be quite honest. I don't know what I would have preferred, but there's something about this that makes it look like less expensive. If you already own this one and you wanted to purchase this one, I will say that it's not like they're completely different shades. Gorgeous embossment though, gorgeous. It's got the little cupid butt situation going on here, very Bridgerton, a crown as well, very similar to this one even. I feel like, okay, at first when this collab happened, I should have said this at the beginning too, I was like, what is happening? Like Pat McGrath and Bridgerton is kind of random, but I do also see like Pat McGrath embodies that sort of lifestyle, honestly. Very luxury looking crowns, cupid butts. I don't know what they're called. I feel like they have a name, but I can't remember off the top of my head. Let's go ahead and do a swatch comparison. This is incandescent gold, and we're gonna swatch it on the index finger. I really hate messing up. I hate messing up the imprint, but whatever. This is Lunar Nude. Lunar Nude is definitely a lot more champagne. This is more white gold, as the name suggests. So this is the new one, the incandescent gold, and then this is, what is it called? Lunar Nude. So definitely more, I would say even like rose, like a rose champagne color. I'm not gonna lie to you, I prefer this shade. It might look a little dark right now on my skin tone. I'm usually a little more tan, but I don't like icy highlighters anymore. But obviously I wasn't gonna go for the gold highlight, the straight up gold highlight from this collection. We're gonna go ahead and apply it on the cheekbones. I'm gonna put the brightness up a little bit more. So I just love this formula because it's so smooth and gorgeous, but like it really gives you that pop of highlight, and it doesn't look like a streak ever. It just looks really natural, but at the same time very bam in your face. It is a beautiful, beautiful highlighter. It like melts into the skin. Is it worth $60? I really don't know. I couldn't tell you, and I would never encourage you guys, like I said, to purchase something like this. I was afraid it was gonna be way too icy for me. Like I just don't like that icy highlighter anymore. I used to love it, but like that was such a years ago me. So this is totally different. It's not too bad in your face. It's really not. So I'm really happy with that, and I think it like blends into the blush, which is actually an eyeshadow, really nicely. Like I'm very, very impressed with this. Well, real quick before I finish off this eye look and all that other stuff, I did just want to like show you guys a comparison of the other 6-pan that I own from Pat McGrath. Right off the bat, this is actually like a hard plastic, whereas this one's cardboard in the Bridgerton one. So that's just like something I noticed. The colors, not really at all similar. I mean, obviously there's a blue in the new one for Bridgerton, but other than that, like the plummy, mauvey pinks, they're not exactly the same. Obviously the biggest difference is that there's a gold in this palette, which I would have loved to see in this palette too, in the Bridgerton palette. But there's a Blitz Astral, which is just something that you don't see in the 6-pans from Pat McGrath ever. So I will say that this palette I think is going to be up my alley a little bit more in general. I'm gonna go finish off the eye look, and then I'll come back to tell you guys my final thoughts. Okay, so this is the final look, and my final thoughts on this collection are that if you are a Bridgerton fan or a makeup collector or a Pat McGrath lover, you will love these products. Even if you're not, they're great quality products. I will say that if I wasn't a makeup reviewer or a huge fan of Pat McGrath or Bridgerton, then I probably wouldn't have picked up the palette, just because if you own a lot of Pat McGrath, I don't think you need it. I own every single Mothership. I think that there's a lot of repeat shades in here, shades that can be found in other Mothership palettes or other Pat McGrath palettes in general, like Celestial Divinity, Celestial Odyssey. I feel like very, very kind of repetitive, mundane kind of shades. Except for this shade is really, really pretty. It does remind me a bit of the Celestial Divinity quad from last holiday from 2020. I know I'm gonna get a lot of use out of it either way. Like I know that I will use that blue because it has a slightly different undertone, that kind of thing. I think that this palette is really pretty. We got a lot of different formulations in here. Like I keep saying, I could have done with a different color story, added a gold, maybe a matte blue. I would have loved for her to do a matte blue of any sort. I am waiting for more color from Pat McGrath, honestly. I really am. I am a fan of color. Either way, the formula is really, really nice. I think there's a lot of looks you can create with just these 6 shades. You can go in a lot of different directions. It's going to be a lot of fun to continue playing with this. I do think that this highlighter is absolutely stunning. So I think it's worth the money. I honestly don't. I think $60 is a lot of money. This is definitely a luxury item. I will say I think I prefer Lunar Nude in terms of packaging and even color wise, but this is still so pretty. And if you're a fan of Bridgerton and you just want it for the packaging, definitely go for it. I really do love the look I created today, but I do think that if I really dug around my Pat McGrath collection even, I could find the exact shades to make this exact eye look. The fact that I could make it with other Pat McGrath palettes tells me that this palette is not really that unique, but I still really like it. So again, I feel like this palette is for you if you are a fan of Pat McGrath, if you're a fan of Bridgerton. Also, if you are wanting to try Pat McGrath's formula and you haven't yet, especially the formula that's made in Italy, you get 6 pans for $65, which I think is a pretty big deal compared to $125 for her big mothership palette. So if you want to try out Pat McGrath's formula, this is a great way to do so. Now, currently the collection is sold out, but there is a wait list, so that means that they are bringing it back. And honestly, when the collection comes back, I might end up picking up the cheek palette only because I finally saw Bridgerton and I'm like, I love it. I love Bridgerton. I'm a huge fan now, and I think I will regret not having it. I love the fact that it comes with 2 new blush shades, and I don't own either of those. You don't have to get the blush palette though. You don't have to get the blush palette because you have the pinks in here, and it looks really pretty. Honestly, really beautiful sheen. Anyway, that's my thoughts on this collection. Let me know what you guys think. I would love to know if you guys picked up this collection and what you think of it. I know the shipping was like just crazy, but we finally got it, man. Hopefully everyone has it already, and hopefully it comes back into stock soon. I think it will. But anyway, that completes this video. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. It helps me out so much. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye. It actually, okay, come on. Take a direction. You know what I mean? What I just said literally made 0 sense. I'm so sorry. Okay, I definitely want to take the Blitz Astral in the shade. What? Something got in my eyeball. It is a little, to me it is.